Hi guys, this is Michelle and I am back with my 13-month update. Now actually tomorrow is my 14-month surgiversary date, but I was really late getting this video out, and actually what I've decided that I'm going to be doing is that every month my goal is to do my monthly update video sometime during the last week of the month, and so that I can report to you what was going on during the actual month. And I realized I didn't even do an update video for January, because for January I really was focusing on doing my 1-year surgiversary type videos. So after this, hopefully I'll get on track. So this is actually my update for February. So let me start off with my stats. I had to do a 6-month supervised diet. I started that in May of 2016. At the start of that diet, I was 286.8, something like that. And then on the day of surgery, which was January 4th of 2017, here in Gilbert, Arizona, I was 251.8. Today, well, not today, but on the last day of February, I was 186. And so that is a 65.8 pound loss since I had surgery. It's 100.8 pounds loss since the start of the supervised diet. And overall, from my all-time highest weight, it is a loss of 134 pounds. So this year I'm mostly just going to be focusing on what my monthly weight loss is. And so in January I lost 4.8 pounds. And for the month of February, I gained 0.8 pounds. So that's where I am right now. Let me tell you about February. February was the most challenging month that I have had yet. It has been crazy in so many ways. I feel like February was a test. And maybe it's good that I got this test out of the way during the second month of the new year, because now I feel much stronger and ready to tackle what happens the rest of this year, because this first month has been a beast. And wow, okay. This is probably going to be a long video and I do not know where to start. Let's just say that first of all, I had a whole bunch of things happen in my house, which I can't believe. You know, I had plumbing problems, I had electrical problems, my dogs have had some problems, and then on top of that, I had some health problems surface this month, and all of these things really threatened to derail me. And actually, they did derail me. And I'm going to talk you through some of my mental process during this month, and yeah, and how I feel now, now that I'm on the other end of this. And so let me kind of start. For you to completely understand this, I have to go back and talk just a tiny bit about past history. So the last time I lost a significant amount of weight, I talked about this a little bit in my last video, where I thought I had done everything right. I changed everything. I changed my friends. I became an active person. I was doing all of these things, and yet I still regained my weight. Well, the biggest reason behind why I regained my weight that time was because of an injury. I was putting all my faith into being an active person and exercising, and then I had an injury that caused me to not be able to exercise, and then that's when I kind of fell apart. So I had a bone spur that I ended up fracturing. I didn't realize I had this bone spur. I had to wear a boot for about 4 months while it healed, and then after I got the boot off, the pain never went away. So that was the first thing that happened. That's the thing that I really mentioned the most. The thing that I don't talk about a lot is that, well, after a couple months after I got the boot off, the second thing that happened that really threw me off track was that pretty much one night I was sleeping. I woke up in the middle of the night because I thought that my bed was on fire. Like literally, I jumped out of bed and I was looking around like, where is my bed is on fire. And I realized that it wasn't my bed that was on fire, but my legs were on fire. They literally felt like someone had set them on fire. And I was like hopping around the room trying to figure out like what position I can get into to get rid of the pain. It eventually died down a little bit. I got back into bed and realized I cannot get comfortable in the bed. At that time, I was a stomach sleeper. And so I couldn't sleep on my stomach because then that's when the fire would come back up again. I couldn't sleep on my back because then the fire would come back up again. So then I would curl up on my side and that would help a lot. But it still was pretty miserable. I got through the night. I woke up the next day and the burning had toned down, but it had turned into this tingling, prickling, stinging, pins and needles sensation that was running up and down my leg. I ended up going to the urgent visit center. He just diagnosed me with neuropathy, gave me prednisone, gave me Lortab, and gave me gabapentin, or Neurontin is the brand name, which is used for nerve pain. I think that it was the prednisone that helped a lot. The Lortab didn't do anything because it wasn't that type of pain. And the Neurontin, he gave me a really low dose for only 7 days. I don't really think that that did anything. But I think the prednisone really helped tone down that inflammation maybe. And I felt better, but I still had the tingling and the prickling sensation, and it was just really annoying. I went to get a massage to see if that would help. It was an interesting massage because I couldn't lay on my back and I couldn't lay on my stomach. So they kind of did it like a pregnancy massage where they propped me up on pillows and I laid on my side. And it was the massage therapist that actually suggested a chiropractor. I wasn't sure how I felt about chiropractors. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the long story. I went to a chiropractor. We did extensive therapy where I went in 3 days a week. I first met with a physical therapist. We did stretching exercises. Then I met with a nurse practitioner who did these trigger point injections. And then they had a massage therapist who would massage those injections in. And then I would meet with the chiropractor and have an adjustment. He did an x-ray of my spine and he said that I had a degenerative disc and that was probably what was pinching down on the nerve and that was causing the pain. Also, I started having really, really bad back pain at the time. I even wore a back brace for a while. The chiropractor had suggested this to help with the pain. So yeah, so I was wearing a back brace while I was working and even when I went out shopping. So I was suffering from the back pain, the burning and stinging pain in my leg on the right side, the bone spur pain on my left side, and that's what eventually did me in. It was all of those things together that within about a year I regained all the weight that I had lost. Not all of it, actually. I didn't regain every single pound. I kept myself from going back up to my highest ever weight, but I regained most of the weight. Okay, so the reason that is important is because in the last week of January, I had the burning, stinging, tingling pain come back again, but this time on the other side of my body. Here I was gearing up for starting to really work on running again. I said that my goal this year was to do 3 5Ks. Because my bone spur pain is pretty much gone with normal activity and with light exercise. I don't feel it. It's only when when I walk over 10,000 steps is when I feel it. So like I said, I was getting ready to start. I've been exercising off and on all along. a little bit here and there, mostly like 1 day a week and nothing. I haven't been very consistent with getting more days in. And so it was like, okay, just when I was about to really start getting active, this happens. And so at first I freak out and I eat, you know, whatever I can find, popcorn, whatever, and drink wine, because that's my other thing to do. Because the other thing was, is that when this pain started again, I could not sleep. It was the worst at night. And the alcohol would help me go to sleep. As a matter of fact, I even got desperate one night because I didn't have any alcohol. I didn't have any wine. I have vodka, but whatever. Like, so one night I didn't have any wine and I'm like, what? I need to go to sleep. This pain is killing me. I still had some liquid Lortab left from my surgery, you know, from my VSG surgery. I took that. It didn't do anything for the pain, but it did knock me out and helped me to go to sleep. So anyway, so I started dealing with that. Then on top of that, I started having these symptoms that felt like maybe it was gallbladder, maybe it was my appendix, maybe it was my kidney. Like, I didn't know what it was because the symptoms didn't fit any one thing, and it was very odd. I'm not going to go into all of that right now because I know I don't feel it anymore, but that happened at the same time. So it's like I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, my body is falling apart, and here it is once again. As soon as I lose weight, something happens to cause me to regain my weight again. But then I was like, but wait, you just talked about this in your 1-year surgiversary video. How can you be falling for the same thing again? And now you're eating things that you shouldn't be eating and drinking too much wine. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna fall for this again. So I stopped and I said, okay, so what did you do wrong before? I stopped exercising. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna exercise. So I remember that very same day, I got back on track, I was eating well, I hopped on the treadmill, I had a great workout on the treadmill with walking and also with weights, and I also ran a little bit, and the burning and the stinging and the tingling, oh, also numbness in my foot too, so yeah, I forgot about that, numbness in my foot. It was bothering me a lot while I was doing it, but I just fought through it, got the workout done. I actually felt great, like in my head I felt great, and my heart felt great, but of course it made everything worse. And that night when I went to bed, it was the worst night yet. Could not go to sleep, tossing and turning. I still, so from the year that I had dealt with this before, after a year of dealing with it and not being able to sleep on my back or my stomach, I actually became a side sleeper. I'm still more comfortable on my stomach, but now I kind of like sleep on my stomach for a while, and then I'm sleeping on my side for a while, and I'm sleeping on my back for a while. That has been my new normal. Well, now, one way that this burning and stinging and tingling is different than what it was before is that it doesn't get worse if I'm on my back or on my stomach. Actually, in some ways, it seems like it's worse when I'm on my side this time. But the thing is that it's worse, period, when I'm in my bed. No matter which way I lay, it is 1,000 times worse at night than it is during the day. So anyway, let me get back on point. Okay, so the next day after I had worked out, I worked out again. Because even though everything felt worse, I was thinking that maybe it was just going to feel worse anyway, whether I worked out or not. So I'm like, you know, I need to work out. I'm not going to regain this weight again. So the next day, I worked out again. And once again, oh, the pain was so bad, I could barely even, like, it hurt when I'm standing, it hurts when I'm sitting, it's worse when I'm laying down. And it's, oh, I keep calling it pain. It's pain, but really what it is, it's this annoying, prickling, almost feeling like you're falling asleep, but that's more of a numbness, which is actually how my feet feel. But my thigh, yeah, it's hard to explain. And then in addition to that, when I would force myself to do things through the pain, through the burn, the tingling and the stinging, then that's when the burning would start, where it would feel like someone has taken a mat, like a fire, and is like rubbing it back and forth against my leg. That's like how it will feel, like all up and down my leg, fire. Now you might ask, when does she go to the doctor? Well, the thing is that I decide to suffer with this for quite a while before I go to the doctor, because I'm secretly hoping that it is going to go away on its own. And so I decided to stick my head in the sand a little bit and try to see if I can get it to go away on my own. I don't know, whatever. So after a couple of days of exercising, I finally decide, okay, I can't take it anymore. I can't take this feeling. Let me take a break, because I got 2 good exercise days in. Let me rest and take a break. So I took a couple more days. I fell back off plan again. So I'm going to say, you know, on plan, off plan. On plan means I'm drinking my water and I'm getting in 50 net carbs or less. Off plan means, you know, even maybe I'm getting 80 carbs or 60 carbs in not getting my water. So I constantly was going off plan and on plan based on how I was feeling mentally at the time. So when I was exercising, I was on plan because I was feeling good. But then when I realized that that only made things worse, then I got a little depressed again and went off plan and just started just sitting on my couch and doing nothing. After a couple of days of that, everything was feeling much, much, much better. It still was bad at night, but during the day, it wasn't bothering me as much. So I could sit at work and I was able to not have to worry about being in pain while I was sitting or while I was standing. Mostly I was in pain. I mean, it never 100% went away, but it was toned down enough that I could kind of ignore it. And so then I thought, oh, well, maybe it has gotten better. Let me try exercising again. So then once again, I get back on track with my food, and then I exercise, and then it gets worse again. So then I'm like, okay, so now I know for sure it's the exercise that's making it worse. And that depresses me again. So here I am, I'm constantly going on plan, off plan, on plan, off plan. I'm depressed one day, I'm happy the next, not happy, but then the next day I'm determined, because I'm like, you're not going to fall for the same thing that you always do over and over and over again. Not going to do it. I mean, I have to say, on one hand, I'm proud of the fact that I never completely fell apart for too many days in a row. That it never was more than like 3 days in a row that I was off plan, and then I would get back on plan. But I can't say that I ever was on plan for like even 7 days in a row for the whole month of February. I constantly kept going back and forths and back and forths, which in some ways is a victory in and of itself, because the pain has not gone away, it's still there. So before, I just fell apart and I was off plan every single day for months, well, for years eventually. And so at first, like I said, yeah, I was very disappointed in myself that that was the very first thing that happened, was even though I knew that this was going to make me gain weight, I still turned to food the very first second that I was panicking about this. And so this was a thing. Also mentally I was panicking because I thought, now this is back again. What is it? And it's a little bit different than it was before, which maybe can point to something more serious than it was before. And if you look up burning and stinging and tinging, there is a lot of serious neurological type things that could be associated with that. And so, yeah, the internet is sometimes a good thing and sometimes a bad thing. So I was freaking out about that, which is another reason why I was kind of avoiding going to the doctor because I didn't want to know if it was something that was worse. Yeah, not smart, but I am a smart person intellectually, but sometimes, yeah, maybe some of the other things. So yeah, so it's like I had my own mental demons about what is this? What does this mean? What's going to happen? What, you know, it's like feeling sorry for myself because it's like, why can't I, you know, I actually want to try running. I want to do these working out. And why am I not allowed to do that? And then of course I talked to myself and it was like, well, how much were you doing these things before this happened? Because you had a window of time where you weren't in pain and you weren't doing these things. I mean, I was doing them sometimes, but not consistently. So then once again, so then I'm like, okay, what is it? What can I be doing? The second mistake that I made before was not doing some of the things that I could actually do in terms of movement. Is there exercise that I can do that doesn't make everything worse? And it was like, yes, I can focus on stretching, focus on Pilates, which I never did do that. I still plan on doing that. I really want to get into Pilates because the few times in the past I've done it, I like it. And I considered it an alternative to yoga because I don't like yoga. So I started getting into doing some stretching. Actually, I have a membership to Daily Burn. So Daily Burn is a monthly membership thing where they have extensive exercises and exercise programs, like a whole library of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And you pay, it's like $14.99 a month or something like that, but I think you can get the first month free. Now, I've had a membership to Daily Burn for about 8 months now, and I have not used it even once, not once. So this time I pulled up my Daily Burn app, and you can do it on the computer or you can do it on your phone or anything like that. And I looked at some, so they have really nice beginners things, advanced things. They have yoga programs, Pilates, stretching. I took a look at, they have this program called Recover, and it's to help people to regain their mobility or to help keep your mobility, to help loosen up all the different joints and all the different areas of your body. I mean, it's an intensive exercise. I mean, intensive stretching and movement. And that's what I started doing. And it's funny because it was from doing that it made me feel so much more in control and so much more aware of things that I could be doing or should have been doing in general, just to maintain my own bodily health. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, I meal prep and I feel like I eat very well. I make sure that I eat a decent quantity of seafood. I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat a small amount of fruit. I eat the highest quality meat that I can buy, mostly organic. And so I do all these things to try to put good stuff in for general health, even more than losing weight. And, you know, I know that exercise is important and moving is important, which is why I wear my Fitbit every day and I try to get in my steps, which I haven't been doing since I've been suffering from this pain. But my point is, the other thing that I never really thought about doing on a daily basis is stretching and movement of the joints and things. And it was when I was doing these types of mobility, I realized how much more I really could be doing that's not even exercise related. Like if I don't feel like exercising or something, I could be doing some of these mobility things. And it made me wonder, if I had been doing these things, would it have helped this problem not happen? And though this is driving me crazy and I really wish it was not happening, On the other hand, maybe it is a blessing in disguise, because first of all, this was my first real test to see if I can handle a life situation without freaking out and gaining back all of my weight. Also, maybe this is reminding me or telling me or showing me things that I should be doing on a consistent basis to maintain my body function and my joints and my muscles and things. Also at the same time this month, I have been going in for deep tissue massages. So I've actually gone 4 times, and it turns out that the massage therapist that I'm going to also used to work as a physical therapist in a neurologist's clinic. So he has also given me some stretching exercises and things to do to help strengthen my back and help work on, just help strengthen other areas of my body to help out with this nerve pain. So I did finally go to the doctor, and I went to a doctor who specializes in musculoskeletal disorders and also sports medicine. So he is a regular internal medicine doctor, but he specializes, or these are his interests. So you can see him for anything, but then these are the things that he is really good at. I go to this, I'm going to explain my doctor's office one day in another video, but they have a different philosophy about medicine, and you can actually see any of the doctors in the clinic that you want to see based on what is wrong with you. You don't have to see your doctor. And actually, my doctor just left this clinic about 5 months ago. I haven't needed to go back to the doctor yet. And so I hadn't chosen a regular family doctor yet. So I just picked this guy as my doctor because this is the problem that I'm suffering with right now. Okay guys, I had to switch to my cell phone because my camera battery only lasts for 30 continuous minutes. So that means that I have already made this video way too long, but I knew it was going to be long, which is kind of why I was avoiding it. Whenever I know I'm going to have a long video, I just don't want to do it. But now I'm glad that I'm almost done. Okay, so I need to tell you about what happened at the doctor's office. So when I went into the doctor's office, he decided that he wasn't going to do any tests. Like, he didn't think that an MRI was necessary, or I think it's called an electromyogram. No, maybe that's for muscles. There's some type of test they can do to test nerve damage. I can't remember what it's called. So he decided that that didn't need to happen, and that an MRI didn't need to happen. What he did, the reason he decided not to do those things is because he did a whole bunch of other tests. So for my feet, because my feet have been numb, and then also the tingling and the stinging in my feet, he did a test where he pricks my feet with a needle in different areas to see if I can feel it, comparing one side to the other side. So it's like, basically I have my eyes closed. He has me tell him what I feel, whatever. So he did tests like that. He did different tests on my strength, comparing one side to the other side, like with my thigh and my legs and my arms. And so he did all of these different things. And what he decided from the tests are that whatever is going on is not something that is serious or something that is causing muscle damage or muscle weakness or nerve damage or anything like that. And so that means that it is most likely something that's temporary and doesn't need all of those extra tests. So he decided not to do those. He did give it a name. It was something I had never heard of before, because I was just calling this neuropathy, and I feel bad I forgot to look it up before I started talking, because I cannot keep the name of it in my head. It's like myalgia, paresthesia. I'll put it in the comment box below if you want to look it up. The thing is that I don't know how much I believe him. So there are several reasons why. Number one, that neuralgia paresthesia thing is mostly concerned just with the thigh area. So then I'm like, well, what about the fact that I have burning and stinging and numbness in my hands and in my feet? So he said that it still could explain the feet thing. He decided that with my hand tingling and stinging and numbing, he decided that that was carpal tunnel. Now, the thing about that is that this is my non-dominant hand. I am right-handed. And so when I'm at my keyboard, I actually use a mouse. I don't really type on the keyboard. So I use my right hand all day, not my left hand all day. So I don't know about that. He did show me some braces on Amazon. It's kind of funny. He just brought up Amazon and he pointed out different braces that I should put on that I should try to wear during the day. And if I can't wear them during the day, I should wear them at night. Sorry, I keep looking at myself because I'm looking to see, it's pretty bright outside. So I was just, whatever. So I need to buy a brace. I have not done that yet. I'm going to do what he said. Even if I don't agree, I'm not a doctor. So I'm going to do what he said. I just find it suspicious that all three of these things aren't connected because they happened around the same period of time on the same side of my body. Okay, it's actually several hours later. I was rewatching my video and I just remembered I left out one thing. I had brought in all of my blood tests with me to the office because I just had all of my 1-year blood work done, and so I wanted the doctor to be able to see that. And that's actually one of the very first things that he was wondering about, because it is common in diabetics to have this type of burning and stinging and tingling. And then also if you are deficient in certain B vitamins, that also can cause neurological conditions. And so I had already had all of my vitamins tested and I'm not a diabetic. So he was able to rule that out. So that was another reason why, you know, at the moment he doesn't think that anything serious is going on. Thanks. I find it hard to believe that this has happened to me again and it's not the same thing that it was before. Does that make sense? It's like either I was misdiagnosed before, so now something totally is going on weird with my body. I don't know. I'm going to take it one day at a time. So he actually thinks, he said he'd be surprised if I came back to see him again for this. Which I tried not to take that as being dismissive because so by the time I went to him, I had already been suffering with this for 3 weeks. So I don't know, it doesn't seem all that temporary, does it? Also, when you look at the description of what he said that I have, it fits the pain that I'm having, but the reasons that it gives that this happens to people does not fit me at all. Like obesity. Okay, so yes, technically I am still obese, but the fact that I've been losing weight for it to be caused, when usually it's probably when you're gaining weight that this would happen. Wearing really tight pants that can pinch a nerve or whatever, or tight belts. Well, that's the exact opposite of how I dress. First of all, most of the time, I walk around my house in house dresses all day. And then when I am dressed up, you know, all of my clothes are too loose, not too tight. And I don't even wear belts, even though I need to wear a belt. I never wear a belt. So, and of course it said there are other reasons, but it said that those were the main reasons why it happened. What he thinks it is, those are the main reasons. Whatever, I'm rambling. He did give me Neurontin, and because I really wanted something. So he wasn't going to give me anything. He had suggested these things as possibilities, and then he kind of left it open to me whether I wanted to try something. And I wanted to try something to help me sleep at night, because I'm struggling with sleep. The sleep thing has been the worst. It really has. I've been drinking herbal teas. I've still occasionally been having a glass of wine. Even Benadryl. I take Benadryl sometimes to help me go to sleep. So, you know, this medication is specifically for nerve pain, and it makes people drowsy. So I have started taking that. You know, it's too soon to know if it's doing anything, but it does seem to help with my sleep. I feel like it's helping me stay asleep faster. That's because usually I take it like 10 minutes before I hop into bed. So of course it can't make me fall asleep fast because I've waited too long to take it. Anyway, the jury is still out on how this medication is helping. So that is what I have been dealing with. I did not mention the other thing to him because I'm not feeling whatever that pain was. That could be my gallbladder, could be my appendix, could be my kidney. You know, for things like that, if it's serious, it's going to be really bad. The pain does not go away. So if something's going on, it's going to come back. So I will worry about it if it comes back. But right now I'm trying to, you know, I'm taking it day by day. And right now I'm winning. I'm doing a very good job. I'm back on plan with my food. I'm doing my stretching. I'm doing the things that I should be doing. And I'm getting through this. I'm surviving it. And so, yeah,